For years, critics of the Zimbabwean government say officials abused the law to arrest and detain perceived critics of the president, like the activist organization Women of Zimbabwe Arize, or WOZA. Jenni Williams, the co-founder and national coordinator of WOZA, recently received the 2012 Ginetta Sagan Amnesty International USA Award for inspiring Zimbabweans to stand up for freedom and basic rights. And Ms. Williams joins us today on In Focus to talk about the award and her work. Thank you so much for making time to come and share your story with us.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
First, congratulations on this award. What does it mean to you?
Well, it's incredible to get this award at this time, and Ginetta Sagan is someone who we'd identified with. She's been an inspiration to us. But we're having a very tough time in Zimbabwe at the moment with lots of charges. I'm appearing in 2 different trials at the same time. And so it's been a boost to our morale and also sends a signal to our activists that the world's still thinking about us.
And as you say, you're facing trials and there's all sorts of tribulations, but somehow the government was okay with you leaving, or was there no way they could stop you?
Well, our bail conditions are fairly free. They've not taken our passport. And as long as we appear in court on the days we prescribe to appear, there's no issue.
Describe to us, from your day-to-day experiences, the state of being for women and children who you advocate for under WOZA in the country.
Well, you know, with the formation of the Government of National Unity, the inclusive government, the politics was temporarily pushed aside, and we moved to a currency based on the United States dollar. And things seemed to stabilize for a certain period of time on the economy. Food became available and affordable. But because that reform didn't come with clear new jobs, employment for people, and our own strong economy taking the place in the manufacturing sector, we are finding that things are getting difficult again. And we also found that last year sometime, there's now more deployment of youth militia. The police create havoc for anyone in the streets. There are arbitrary stop and searches. The police have they ask for bribes. If you're just trying to sell your tomatoes, you become like a criminal just for wanting to survive.
Yet you persist. You're always in the streets. I know every February at least you have this march, the Valentine's Day March, marking also the anniversary of the establishment of your organization, 10 years now.
Yeah.
How have you withstood the arrests, the beatings, and your determination to somehow keep going at such a sacrifice, personal too, I know?
Yeah, Zimbabwe its independence came about through a protracted armed struggle. And we didn't really develop the country in a stabilized way. 10 years later, the education system began to crash and is still crashing. Children cannot get educated in Zimbabwe anymore. And so for us, when we formed WOZA, we said we wanted to create a platform for women to speak out about their everyday issues. Educating their children, the cost of bread, the ability to get a constitution that respects dignity. Those are simple things, and those things are what we want. Our method of getting them is strategic nonviolence. It's mothers marching with love, with their red roses, symbolizing that love, and saying this is a time for love in Zimbabwe. So and that work was never as important today as it has been in the last 10 years.
So before you go, let me ask you this. Zimbabwe is in a transition, and there are talks of these elections taking place anytime between now and next year or the year after. What is your ideal vision of Zimbabwe and WOZA's input in how it becomes so?
Well, with the June 2008 elections, the word election in Zimbabwe now means violence. And we should try to change that perspective. Zimbabweans should look at an election as an opportunity to exercise their full citizenship without fear of abduction, beating, torture, without fear of a woman being raped. And that is something that we are concerned about. Okay. However, the new constitution is coming, and we want it, and then we'll have an election.
And I'm sure it will be a great day. Thank you so much. Jenni Williams, co-founder and national coordinator of Women of Zimbabwe Arize, joining us here on In Focus. Now, for more information on any of today's stories, please visit us online at voaafrica.com. You can also visit us on Facebook. Just search for In Focus.